In this video, I'm going to share with you how to make this beautiful hoop name sign using a couple of simple materials, and it's perfect to display in your new baby nursery or kids room. So let's get into it. I'm using a bamboo hoop which is 25 centimeters in diameter or about 10 inches across. Also some 3mm aluminium wire and some coated pliers just so you don't nick the wire, some wire cutters and a few ribbons and cords to hang from the bottom of the hoop. They're all linked below for you. The font I'm using here is from Canva and it's called Golden if you are interested in using that font, but you can use any font that you like. Just make sure that it's continuous and that the template fits inside your hoop by a couple of centimeters. Then I'm going to draw lines coming out of the end of the name because this is what's going to attach to your hoop. There we go, nice and central. Then we're going to start the name. I will leave a tail at the start and the end of the name of about 20 centimeters because that's the part that's going to attach to the hoop. At the start of this name there's quite a harsh bend, so what I do here is just give it a little wiggle until the wires touch, and then you're going to have a bubble here which you want to remove. And you're going to take your pliers and just clamp firmly to close that gap. That'll make it nice and neat, and then you can continue with making your name. Just make sure that that end is kind of going out horizontally because then it will be easier to connect to your hoop later. You only need to buy about 1 meter of this wire if you have a relatively short name like Ivy or Ava, but if you have a longer name I would recommend buying about 3 to 5 meters just in case, and also to allow for any offcuts and mistakes or practice that you need to do. This wire is so easy to work with, so when you get the hang of it, it's just so nice and rewarding. Just make sure that any kind of creases in the wire where it's not flowing as well, make sure you just even those out with a little wiggle, and then it will look all nice and flowing and neat and lucid. I keep checking in with my hoop just to make sure it's going to look nice and it fits inside the hoop. And then we're going to go back on ourselves again here, see? Wiggle, 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 clamp, clamp, clamp. Nice and firmly close that gap. Any font that you print out is going to be smaller than your wire make usually, because there's a tendency to kind of make it bigger than the font, so just remember that. Sometimes the font makes your wire look a bit funky or weird, or you're like, I don't know if this is going to look very good, but trust me, stick with it and it's going to look beautiful at the end. I really didn't want this to look like an R, because a lot of the other ones I do, the R's look like that, but it's actually the join between a V and an I. But in this font, that's exactly what it looked like, so I just trusted the font and went with it. It's all coming together. Once you finish this, you can breathe a sigh of relief, because this is the hardest bit. This is the trickiest bit by far, but it's very rewarding at the end. That little turn in the A I can't really do with this wire, and I'm just going to leave it kind of short and neat. Then I cut another 20 centimeters at the end, and then we are going to just draw some little marks where I want the name to go back, and we're going to take our pliers and bend a 90-degree angle backwards where the marks are. So your name should be able to stand up at this point. Now hold your hoop and the name firmly, and where you've bent it back, you just want to flatten it as much as you can onto the hoop, and then just start bending the rest of the tail around the hoop. If you just use the same technique the whole way down, like you have with the first one, it should look nice and neat. I'm going to bend it around about 4 or 5 times here. When you're happy with your attachment, just cut the wire and just smooth it down with your coated pliers, and do the same on the other side, making sure that your wire is kind of just shy of where the wall is going to be, so it doesn't scrape the wall. Now I'm attaching some ribbons at the bottom for a nice pretty dream catcher like look. I'm just going to loop them underneath and then pull that through. This is actually recycled t-shirt yarn, and it's just kind of a nice fabric-y feel, and I'm going to put 3 of these on. I don't want it to be completely uniform, but I want it to follow a kind of pattern, but not. But you can use whatever you want for this. It's just completely up to you. I've got ribbons, this is actually not what I was going to use at the start, but I changed my mind because I wanted to add some dusky pink into it. Then I've got some white recycled t-shirt yarn. So you want to just kind of match it to whatever nursery colours that you have. That would be really perfect. You could just leave it like that, but I wanted to add some textures. I just cut roughly at the bottom, 20 to 30 centimetres. I really wanted to include this lace ribbon because I just think it's so pretty. Then I ended up plaiting some white yarn because I thought it would be nice to have a plait on there, something different. And I got my 3mm cord and gutted that as well. And I did a couple of these just to give it a nice texture. And here is our finished sign. I'm so happy with how this came out. It's perfect for a little girl's room and it's so simple, cheap and effective to make. I really hope you give this a go. If you loved this video, I would love you to check out this video. I think you'll really like it. So I'll see you there.